In this video, I want to highlight something I said during the live stream that I made today. The live stream is called Full Armor of God. And that is that when it comes down to it, worldly people will be a snare unto you. And I've said this often already. Now look, to give you an example of how grim the situation can become with worldly people, just look at what happened to Christ. He was arrested. He was abused. And the governor of Judea, the governor, Pontius Pilatus or Pilate, he gave the public a choice. Either Barabbas, who was a robbing murderer. Barabbas pretended to be a revolutionary type that was there for the people, but he scammed the people. He robbed people, he killed people, pretending to do something good for them. So he was arrested and he was about to be executed. Christ committed no crime at all. He just didn't give in to the expectations of commoners, and now they turned on him. And look at this. Christ, who healed the sick, who raised the dead, Christ, who fed the multitudes that were hungry, Christ, who did all of that, who walked on water, who spoke out healing, Christ, who taught people to be constructive, Christ, the light of the world, they wanted him gone. They wanted him dead. So when they were offered the opportunity, they said Barabbas. Even the Roman governor, who was a devil worshipper, was shocked when he experienced this. The other ministers there of the Roman government were thinking, what? Barabbas, who scammed you, who killed one of his own. You want him back on the loose? But this man, Christ, who is your king, you don't want him? Okay, so let's look at the whole situation. Judea was a contentious place. You often had those revolutionary types that rose up and scammed the people. Christ was not one of them. He was the real deal. There was evidence and proof that he was the real deal. And now, you prefer one of those scam artists to be amongst you? There were troubles enough in Judea. They shouldn't want more troubles, but they preferred to put up with more troubles in their community than to admit that they were wrong. That's how toxic they were. And I told you this before, that when it comes down to it, they will choose for their Barabbas, whatever their Barabbas is. They will put up with the violence, with the sickness, with disease, with the tragedies, with the pain. They will put up with all of that before they put up with Christ or one of his followers. Just think about it. What if, I'm using a parable now. What if you were addicted to drugs? What if you almost had a drug overdose and you needed help immediately? And what if there was a doctor in town that could help you, but because people couldn't stand that doctor, they didn't want to inform that doctor that you need help? Because if they inform the doctor that you need help, that would imply that they were not able to help you or that they neglected you. They didn't want to admit this about themselves. So they don't inform the doctor who's able to help you. And let's say that you have a drug overdose and you die. Who killed you? Yes, you were addicted. You were not even aware you were addicted, so you really needed help. You were not aware you were self-destructive. But who really killed you? Your community did. Because there was help there for you, right in front of them, but due to their pride, due to their will, whatever I will, free will, BS, they hindered help for you and you perished. What if there is a domestic violence situation and you were one of the children involved in a domestic violence situation? The community knew what was going on. But they did not call the authorities, neither they intervene by dealing with that reprobate father of yours that was getting drunk and smacking people around in the household. And now you are an adult, and as an adult, you have those, those self-esteem issues that blinded you from seeing someone's true colors. So you ended up in a marriage where you were narcissistically exploited. Now, how did you end up in that marriage? Yes, you made a choice that you said I do, but how come you didn't see that that individual was bad? It is because you still had wounds that you carried from your childhood that weren't healed. How did you end up with those wounds? Because the community around you didn't want to do the right thing. They held onto their pride, saying, we don't mind other people's business, we have respect. They all held onto their false gods. And to preserve their false gods, they enabled and kept danger in existence, danger that afflicted you. And that's why as an adult, you had those issues and you were an easy prey for a predator that you married. And now you need to spend years recovering from that marriage. None of that was inevitable. It could have been prevented, all of it. But it happened because those around you sold you out to preserve their false gods. And this is what I'm telling you, believer. These worldly people, some of them will be on good terms with you and they will have no evil thought towards you at all. Those exist, absolutely. But in general, because you're not dealing with the exceptions all the time, you're dealing with the general. In general, when it comes down to it, they will keep danger alive to preserve their false gods. And if you are the one in a dire need of immediate help, they will be the first to block the help that you need if it means preserving their false gods. So if you are from a family and nobody in your family reached anything in life, but now you reach something, that means that now people need to adjust their opinion about your family because you reached something. But now they don't want to admit that they were wrong. So now they will try to sabotage you. If that doesn't work, they will turn on you. And let's say now you have a relative of yours who is used to playing the victim, so he doesn't want to change. He now will enable you or he will enable others, to harm you. He will set you up in a bad situation so that he now can play the victim. Because with you around, he can't play the victim because it has become obvious that he never did anything with his life. So he will endanger you either by setting you up or by enabling evildoers against you so that he doesn't have to look at himself. That's how toxic those people are. What if there's sexual defectiveness in a community? People say it's our lives, our bodies, what we do in our bedrooms, or what we long for, it's none of your business, blah, blah, blah. We have free will. They come with all kinds of justification. Okay, but let's say the sexual defectiveness turns into sexual predation. Now you have children, vulnerable human beings who can't defend themselves, who are in danger because you have those defective creeps on the loose. Where did those defective creeps come from? They grew up in a community, the same community that doesn't want to face their sexual defectiveness. So you're not allowed to speak about the sexual defectiveness because it's their business. They have the right to be defective, they think. So now that that community brought forth defective creeps that creep on children or that creep on others, what are they going to do now? Now they don't want to hear anything about it, just want to be left alone. So just to preserve their privacy, sovereignty, and all that other BS doesn't exist, they will enable and support danger around them and in their communities just so they can preserve their false gods. That's how they are. So think twice, or better said, think thrice before committing yourself to such people. Think thrice before being too deeply involved with them. Because when it comes down to it, they will sacrifice you to preserve their false gods. They do this with their own all the time. So what do you think they will do with you, believer? Get real, believer. Seriously, get real. Those beings are toxic. Forget about the exceptions. You're dealing with the general most of the time. They are toxic towards each other and especially towards you, because as a believer, they will blame you. As a believer, they will treat you as they treated Christ. They will prefer creeps who will haunt their own, who will haunt their children, who endanger their offspring, who endanger their future. They prefer such creeps on the loose than they have you to walk around in freedom. They are control creeps, so they themselves want to control all the time. If they can't control you, they'll put all their effort to fight you and undermine you instead of dealing with the dangerous figures amongst them. That is what you're dealing with. So think thrice before committing to such people. Think thrice before forming deep bonds with them. Do you want deep bonds with people that eventually will keep danger in existence just to relieve themselves? And they also expect you to swallow and get along with the danger, even if it means at your expense. And you're not allowed to show any sign that you're affected in a bad way, because that will bother their ease. So you need to put their ease above you at your expense, so that they are left alone at all times and you have no obligations to do anything for you. You just have to accept it because the world owes you nothing. Are you out of your mind? Seriously, believer, who do you serve? Christ or that thing called the world? Make up your mind. Be at peace.